Did you know that there are ways to get into the U.S. national parks for free? Today, I want to talk to you all about the free passes that you can get for the national parks and tell you how to get one. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. And also, fun fact, my first job with the National Park Service as a park ranger was in an entrance station. And so I was that park ranger that was selling the passes, that was helping people get these passes. And so today I thought it would be fun to talk about these little known passes. Honestly, a lot of people don't even realize these are options for getting into the national parks for free. There are some really cool ways to do that, and it's something that I loved telling people about when I worked in the entrance station, and I'm excited to share with you today. All right, so when you get to the national park and you go through the entrance station, you do need to pay an entrance fee for most national parks. And that entrance fee, so when you get there, you can choose, do I just want a 7-day pass, which is the standard pass per vehicle? Do I want an annual pass? Am I gonna keep coming back to this park multiple times? Maybe you just live an hour away and you like to go back. So you have that option too. But where you're going to be able to save some money if you qualify is with the annual passes for the entire national park system. So these are called America the Beautiful passes, and they cover the national parks. They cover a lot of other places like Forest Service land and Bureau of Land Management and Fish and Wildlife Service, the COE. So there are some other places that you can use these as well, which makes it really cool. But these annual passes for all these different agencies are where you're going to find some of these free entrance opportunities. So let's jump in with the different passes that are free. And then if you don't qualify for any of these ones, I will talk to you about how you can get a good deal on visiting the parks with a different pass. All right, so the first pass that I want to talk about that is free is for fourth graders in the United States. So if you have a fourth grader in your family, you can go online, you can fill out a short questionnaire, you have your kid do it. They get to fill it out, print it out, you take it to the entrance station when you get to the park, and they will issue you a free fourth grader's pass. This program is called Every Kid Outdoors, so you'll go to everykidoutdoors.gov, and then you can just go down here. It tells you how it works. And then for the fourth graders, you do get your pass. They just answer a few questions, print something out. It's super easy. What's awesome about this is for people like me, my family, we don't qualify for any of the other free passes. And so we were super excited. Actually, this year we had a fourth grader for the first time, and he was super excited that, it's his pass. He does need to be with us for us to be able to use it. And he, gets to take the reins on, getting us into the national parks for the year. So it's been really fun for him, but it's also been really fun for us to have that opportunity to visit a lot of national parks for free because he's in fourth grade and he's at that curious age where he just loves to get into the parks and learn new things. The second annual pass that you can get that is free is called a volunteer pass. And a lot of people don't even know that these exist. It's pretty cool. So if you volunteer at one of these agencies that the pass is good at, I mentioned before, it doesn't have to be a national park. It can be your local Forest Service. If it's U.S. Forest Service, they can issue these. Again, BLM, Army, Corps of Engineers, places like that, Fish and Wildlife. But all of these different agencies have need for volunteers. So they will have these volunteer hours available that you can sign up for. It's going to look different for every location and every place, just depending on need. And when you hit 250 hours of the volunteer service under a volunteer coordinator, it does need to be official, but when you hit those 250 hours, then you'll get issued a volunteer pass that will get you into the national parks for an entire year for free. So that's really cool. And you don't have a time limit for accruing these. So you just, you can do it over months, you can do it over years, but once you hit that 250 volunteer hour mark, then you can get that free pass. The best way to do this is to go to volunteer.gov. You can also, if you have a local park or Forest Service office or something, you can go in and talk to them. But let's put in Utah, that's where I'm from, so you can look at the different volunteer opportunities that are here. So you can see there's a couple in Zion National Park, which is really cool. Vernal, that's BLM, that's Bureau of Land Management. Arches, you can work at the Visitor Center in Arches. You can be a volunteer for the summer. Golden Spike, you've got all of these different little, some of these are smaller locations that need campground hosts, trail crew, stuff like that. Here's one for the Grand Canyon, which isn't Utah, but close enough. And so you can go through these options. Here's a Bryce Canyon, just really cool options for volunteering. So anyway, I think volunteers in the parks are the best. They are some of the best, most interesting, kindest people. They're people that you want to rub shoulders with. So if you have a little bit of extra time and you can give back to something locally, or if you have a bigger chunk of time and you can go sign up for a summer volunteering as a campground host or working in the visitor center or something like that, it is well worth it. And you get the free National Parks Pass as well. Our next free pass to the national parks is for our military folks. To say thank you for your service, you actually can get free entrance into the national parks. You can get either an annual pass or a lifetime pass. So the military annual pass is for current active duty military and dependents. And so you'll have to, re-up it every year, and they will check documentation. But that is a pass that you can get yearly as your active duty, and you can get into those national parks for free for that year. For the military lifetime, that one is for Gold Star families and veterans. And so if you fall under either of those categories, you can actually get a lifetime free pass to the national parks as a way to say thank you for your service and sacrifice. So that's a really cool program. It's something that isn't taken advantage of a whole lot, and I wish it was. We need to get the word out there because these fine military folks and families do deserve to be in these national parks for free. So let's get the word out on that. To get your military pass, and I will link these pages in the video description below so that you can get to these websites easily, but you'll come here and then you can look at the annual pass, which is here, and you can see who qualifies, and then it also shows you what documentation is required. These I would recommend getting in person when you get to the park. They will have them there at the entrance stations at most places. You can check beforehand here to see what sites will have them. And then to do it online, it also costs a little bit more. You have that processing fee, which you won't have in person. It will just be free in person. So that's for the annual. And then for the lifetime, as I mentioned, this is for Gold Star families. And so you can get information here about what qualifies. And then veterans is also here. And then it tells you what you need to bring, what won't work, what they won't accept for that. But that one's a lifetime pass. So you don't have to re-up it every year. You can get this one and just have it for as long as you have it. Okay, and finally, we have the Access Pass, which is a free lifetime pass to the national parks. And this is for U.S. citizens who are permanently disabled. And so if you show up at an entrance station and you bring the correct documentation to prove your permanent disability, then you will be given one of these passes, and it is good for your lifetime. Okay, so here's again some more information for you. And so if you want to read about this, but it's a free Lifetime pass, you see, it doesn't have to be 100% disability, but it does need to be a permanent disability. And so you can read through who qualifies here. It can be a child. There's no age requirement on that. And so take note of that. And then here's what you need to bring with you to prove that disability. And they have examples you can look through. And then you'll just bring that to the entrance station and they will give you that pass. Cool, right? Like a lot of people don't know about all these different options. And so these are some really cool ways to take advantage of programs that are already out there and to get into these national parks more, which I just think people need to be in the national parks more. So it's really exciting for me. And again, for all of these passes, I would just take the required documentation and ID to the national park itself, and then they can just issue it there right then and there. Again, I was an entrance station ranger, and so I used to do that when people would come through. You know, we had the passes there ready, waiting. We can issue them right from the entrance station. So for most people, that will make the most sense rather than trying to do it online and waiting the waiting period and paying the processing fee. So just check online, make sure that the site you're going to does have those passes available, but it's easier to do it in person. Now, there are a few other options. If you don't qualify for any of these free ones, there are some ways to get discounted entrance into the national parks. So, two different options here. We have what's called the Senior Pass, and the Senior Pass is for U.S. citizens who are 62 or older. You just need to show identification of your age, and they can issue these. You can get a yearly pass for $20, and that will get you into all of those agencies, and it will also give you a discount on camping and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Or, which this is the one I recommend, you can get a lifetime senior pass for $80, which is a great deal. And then that way you don't have to renew it every year. You don't have to do it again. You can just get the pass the one time and it's good for your lifetime. So that's pretty cool. That's a really cool option if you are a senior. Now, if you're not a senior and you don't have any of these other things, then you fall under the camp that I typically fall under, which is I just qualify for the regular America the Beautiful annual pass. And that pass is $80. Anyone can get that pass, and it covers all of these areas, the national parks, Forest Service, BLM, all of those. It does not give you any discounts on camping or anything like that like the senior pass does, but it does get you entrance into the national parks with that $80 fee for the whole year. We use this pass like crazy. So you can imagine we're in the national parks all the time. We save a ton of money on just buying the annual pass instead of paying for the 7-day entrance fee at every national park we go to. So I think last year I did the math and we saved around $600 in entrance fees just by having this annual pass. So you probably aren't visiting as many national parks as I am. I'm in the parks a lot so that I can help you. But if you visit even 3 national parks, you'll come out better. So most national parks have around $25 to $35 entrance fee. And so again, 3 or more parks in a year, and you will have made your money back and you'll start saving money on entrance fees at that point. So that's a really good option. And as I mentioned, it's not just for national parks. And so I know, like for me locally, we have a Forest Service, a big canyon full of Forest Service campgrounds and picnic areas and trailheads and stuff like that. They charge to park in a lot of those places now, and our annual pass for the America the Beautiful, the National Parks Pass that we get primarily for national parks, also includes those Forest Service sites. And so we are saving a lot of money that way too. Locally, we can head up into the canyon and we can go to these trailheads and not have to pay the entrance fee because of our pass. All right, so hopefully you're able to get into the national parks this year. You might even qualify for one of those free passes, which is great. I hope that you are able to explore the parks. If you need any extra help planning your national park trip, I have tons of videos here on the Dirt in My Shoes YouTube channel. I've also got a podcast exploring the national parks, which is really fun and talks about all of our family adventures in the parks. And I also have a website, dirtinmyshoes.com, where you can find a lot of articles to help you plan. And you can find fully planned out trip itineraries where you don't have to do any of the work. And I will show you hour by hour how to navigate through the park in the best way. So lots of options for help here, but I hope that you're able to put these plans into motion, get into these parks, and have a great time getting some dirt in your shoes.